any given year, there are tons of cars that I'm excited to drive, and the Z is high on my list because I had one. Back in college, I had a 1985 Nissan 300ZX, Z31, non-turbo, two-seater manual analog gauges, and I loved that car until I crashed it, but that's a story for another day. Fast forward a few years later, out of college, living in California, and a friend lets me find a 240Z for him for sale on the West Coast and then drive it back to him on the East Coast. I road tripped that car across country back in like 2012, I think, and that just made me fall deeper in love with Z cars. I've always loved Z cars. I've also always been critical of them. I never really warmed up to the 350Z. And then for a long time, I loved the 370Z, but the problem was a long time turned into, oh my God, please evolve this car or kill it. Well, they've evolved it. This is the new 2023 Nissan Z. Ooh, almost jumped it. And I'm happy to say that there's a lot of good, and there's some things we could work on. So this is not a full clean sheet new Z. This is an evolution of the 370Z. It's basically the same chassis. The suspension has been revised. It's made to look new on the outside. It feels nicer on the inside, and there's a new engine strapped onto the hood of this thing. And that is a very good thing because the engine here is a 3-liter twin turbocharged V6 making 400 horsepower. It's the engine borrowed from the Infiniti Red Sport. Even better is you can back it up with a 6-speed manual, or as is the case with this specific car, a 9-speed automatic. And I don't love the automatic. It is a pretty lazy gearbox in this car. It's better to shift it yourself with the paddles, and even then there's still a little bit of laziness associated with it. I'm sure the manual would increase the enjoyment of the car overall, and especially with the rev matching system and all that good stuff. And I've heard that manual is a nicer manual than what was in the 370Z. But from an overall driving experience, the engine helps make this car supremely enjoyable. It's nice and torquey. It's got a flat torque curve because it's a turbocharged engine, so you can just pull hard in pretty much all the gears, minus 7, 8, 9 fuel economy gears. The chassis feels nice. There's a bit of suspension tuning I think that could go a little bit further to make this even more enticing of a package, but I think they sacrifice some of that for on-road comfort. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt there, and I really would like to see what a Nismo version of this will do. This is the performance version of the car though too, so it does have adaptive dampers, and I don't notice a huge difference just playing with the settings on that. It does get 19-inch wheels, it does get bigger brakes, and it does get summer tires, though again, like almost any car, unless it comes from the factory with super aggressive tires for a sports car, there's always room for improvement there. No exception here. On the inside though, this is a nice experience. I'm comfortable in here. I think these seats are well done. I like that we have a more modern screen with wireless Apple CarPlay. That is all good stuff. The camera resolution for the rear camera though feels dated, but the digital cluster up here, which is adjustable, is a very nice touch. So you have a mix of like some reminders that this is still kind of a 370Z somewhere under the skin, but it's evolved and Nissan is doing good things across its model lineup for a bunch of the models. No different here. I think it's priced well for what it is. These start in the $40,000 range and easily rise up to just over $50,000. They leave a gap to jump to the Supra if you're comparing competitors, which is smart there to undercut the Supra by a big amount. This is more entertaining and enjoyable than a 4-cylinder Supra. And as much as I have my issues with the Supra kind of waxes this car in the performance standpoint of things. It's a more expensive vehicle, it's a more powerful vehicle, it's a lighter vehicle, it's a better performing vehicle. Looks-wise, I think the Z smokes it. I love the looks of this thing. I think they did a really good job there. I'm happy with the grille in person. I think this yellow color is a lot of fun. I like the black two-tone of it. I think it looks really good. I love the Z badge on the side of it, and I like that they just called it the Z instead of the 400Z. So overall, I'm very happy with the Z. I think there is room for improvement, and I hope the Nismo version, which they're testing, does that. Oddly enough, I had this car at Angeles Crest last Friday. I don't know if you saw those spy photos of the Nismo Z being tested. I was there that day randomly. I saw them testing it, and at one point that car was even behind me, probably wondering why the hell is one of our cars out here while we're testing this. It was really funny to see. If you Google Nismo Z testing, like I was 5 minutes away from those photos being taken, which is really funny to me. But I'm excited for the future of the Z. I'm happy the car has finally evolved. Do I wish it had gone a little further and been a clean sheet design? Of course I do, but at least they did something. Hopefully something is coming with the GTR, and like I said, happy. This is a great 7/10 car. It's really comfortable around town. If you push past 7/10, that's when things start to show up and you go, oh man, that could be better, that could be better, that could be better. But you shouldn't be going past 7/10 on the road anyway, technically. If you took it to a track and tried to go to 10/10, you'd be struggling a little bit unless you made some improvements of your own in the aftermarket. But for a daily 7/10 car, I think they did a really good job.